reality show Love Island that's been viral recently.
I have
I
not.
watched one episode, not even a full episode, a clip. It was a challenge where you had to get some milk from a bucket and spit it into this person's mouth, who spit into another person's mouth, and then y'all had to make out with two different people, and then y'all have to make out with each other, and then you have to spit it back. It was
lots of ass grabbing, if I recall.
I think her ass still has his handprint on it, actually. Can you bring her in here?
Oh my God!
Nick, what the fuck? You are a great swaller.
But this is what this this is the show that people, women in particular, congregating at bars and clubs throughout the country to binge watch.
That is disgusting. It's completely uncalled for.
That's where we are. So when I see like Black Mirror, I think the episode is called 1,000 Merits or something like that. We're not that far from there. And I think it's only going to keep going in this direction. I think that the T-app is going to continue to be successful. I'm curious about what the male version is going to be. That's going to be something. But unfortunately, I think it's right in line with where we are right now.
This is one of the most insane stories in internet history. Okay, so the #1 app in the world is called T. It lets women post anonymous gossip and reviews of men on dating sites. My single brethren, I'm sorry. Which to me is a defamation nightmare waiting to happen. But that's not the crazy part. The crazy part is that today, the IDs of every woman who signed up for the app were leaked to 4chan on a searchable map. Because, and yes, it gets more insane, it turns out that the app was vibe coded and the data was stored in a public folder available to the entire internet with no security whatsoever. This is one of the worst private information leaks I've ever heard of. The lawsuits for this are gonna be insane. I don't know what the lesson is here, guys. Be careful of where you upload your information, A, and B, if you're gonna vibe code an app, make sure you know what you're doing.
Nah, it is unfortunate, and as the commenter is saying, that is quite disgusting what you're describing. Yeah. But it's discussing the state of affairs that we're in. You know, this is a lot of what you said is related even to that first kind of subject and conversation. You know, as you talk about the way in which we perceive the world, and we don't necessarily see it the way we are, but I mean the way it is, but we see it the way we are. So. Sure. Making stories out of things, right? You have what happens to you, and then you had a story you tell yourself about what happens to you. And it's intoxicating for, a lot. Like it's the story that's intoxicating. Like people, you can see this sometimes with people who are always talking about doing something and actually never do anything, never execute. Yeah. Them just talking, they get the dopamine rush just by talking about it. It's just, the intoxication of just talking about it. And so, in these regards, it's more intoxicating to be looking and digging for dirt. It's more intoxicating to have a story to go on, the T app.
Women thrive off nothing more than chaos and emotional turmoil. That is going to be the emotional levers that a man has to pull in order to keep that woman attached. Women love drama. Women love turmoil, okay? The asshole, okay, or the bad boy or the player gives natural turmoil because he provides inconsistent behavior. See, consistency in all ways, shapes, and forms. When a woman knows that you want her, this is the fastest way to not only bore her and turn her off.
And that's a reflection of you. So as you stated earlier, women needing to understand men and get a sense of men, it really at the root, I think, starts to go back to, for all of us, getting a sense of self. And asking those questions of self in introspection, and not necessarily immediately placing value judgment on when you do something or when you think a certain way or when you're drawn to something. Don't resist maybe the urge as you go inward to place an immediate value judgment on it and go into behavior modification. Okay, well, don't do that. You said that. Don't say that. Don't do this. You looked at his phone again. Don't be that. No, just sit and ask yourself, like, why do I do that? What is it about it? And what is it about me that is drawn to that? Yeah. And just really be okay and comfortable with sitting with it and unpacking that. But now we'd actually talk about like really doing some work.
Yeah, no, 100%.
And it's fun.
Yeah. I think, for the women watching, I think what's particularly dangerous about this is I think whereas men look for alliance, like strategic alliances, I think women look for community, right? And I think part of finding or fitting into a community is a certain level of humility, transparency, if you will, right? Like I think the way men think about alliances is like, you know, I'm about to run pickup basketball and I want to pick the tall guy or the dude who looks strong or the dude who looked like he could play, or, you know, for less experienced people, the dude who has the right gear, right? So like when we come together as a team, we can be effective. I don't know if that's how women think about it. I think women think about like, who can I feel safe with? Right? Who can I feel vulnerable with? Who can I feel myself with? And paradoxically, I think it sets you up for failure because it continues to nurture parts of yourself that you should be divorcing yourself from. And unfortunately, I think part of that process of when women come together and share stories incentivizes you to have a story to share. Like I've heard women talk about how, you know, when they got a good man, their friends thought they were boring or they lost friends because they couldn't relate anymore. There was no community anymore because I'm living a different life.
The simplest way to explain what women want in general terms is this. Women want what other women want. There it is. Women want what other women want. It's true, but kinda unsatisfying. The designers in Milan and New York already know what they're going to be pushing for the spring lineup 2 years from now. They're attempting to influence taste, but they cannot dictate it. Despite their best efforts, the particular look that will go viral in any given season is still anyone's guess. It just kinda emerges out of the profusion of individual choices at the population level. And once that look gets established, because it's adopted by a critical mass of women, it becomes the standard against which individuals are compared, for as long as it remains the norm. And this is how, in a given time and place, a sizable majority of women always seem to kinda look the same, despite the fact that their fashions are constantly changing.
Hey, if you've made it all the way to the end, please click that like and subscribe button. Also share this with somebody that you think would gain value from it. Click the thumbnail at the top if you want the full video. Click the thumbnail at the bottom if you want a video that's closely related to this. Again, like, share, subscribe. Appreciate you guys for watching. Check out some more of our content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.